Hello, and welcome to today's episode of America's Tea Party. I'm your host, Altia, and I'm thrilled to have you join us. First of all, I would like to clarify that this podcast has been created for a class assignment for Literatura Norteamericana I at University of Granada in Spain. Furthermore, I give my consent for it to be uploaded online for research purposes. Today, we're diving into two iconic pieces of American literature and history: John Winthrop's A Model of Christian Charity and President John F. Kennedy's inaugural address from 1961. Though these works come from vastly different eras, the Puritan colonization of the 17th century and the Cold War in the 20th century, they share a strikingly similar objective: to shape and control society by appealing to unity, sacrifice, and divine or moral authority. So, grab your tea and let's dive in. Let's set the stage first. John Winthrop's A Model of Christian Charity was delivered aboard the Arbella in 1630, as Puritans sailed toward the New World to establish what they believed would be a godly community. This sermon laid out a vision of a city upon a hill, a model society under God's watchful eye. Fast forward 331 years to John F. Kennedy's inauguration as the 35th President of the United States. It was a time of tension and transformation, the height of the Cold War. In his speech, Kennedy called for national and global unity, urging Americans to work together for peace, freedom, and prosperity. Two leaders. Two different centuries. But the message? Surprisingly aligned. Let's explore how. Both Winthrop and Kennedy understood the power of invoking God. For Winthrop, God's will was central to his vision. He wrote, "God Almighty hath so disposed of the condition of mankind, as in all times some must be rich, some poor, some high and eminent in power and dignity, others mean and in subjection." This concept of divine providence shaped the Puritans' worldview. Every aspect of life, even the inequalities, was God's plan. Meanwhile, Kennedy's inaugural address echoed this divine connection. He declared, "The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state but from the hand of God." For Kennedy, God wasn't just the foundation of individual rights, it was a call to moral responsibility, a higher purpose. In both texts, God serves as a moral compass. But here's the twist: this wasn't just about faith. It was about control. By tying their visions to divine authority, Winthrop and Kennedy reinforced their leadership as ordained or morally justified. Clever, right? Another key theme is community. Winthrop saw the Puritan community as a tight-knit, harmonious body, one where mutual support and shared values were essential. He famously wrote, "We must be knit together in this work as one man. We must delight in each other." For Kennedy, the idea of community extended beyond national borders. During a time of global tension, he called for collective action, famously stating, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Both leaders emphasized unity, sacrifice, and cooperation. Whether it was a Puritan colony or a Cold War superpower, their messages boiled down to this: only through unity can we achieve greatness. But again, this unity wasn't just about harmony. It was a mechanism of control. By prioritizing the group over the individual, both leaders reinforced their authority and secured compliance. A perfect society sounds nice, but it comes with strings attached. Finally, let's talk about power. Winthrop's power structure was deeply hierarchical, rooted in Puritan ideals of divine election. Wealth and status? Signs of God's favor. Poverty? A trial of faith. This reinforced obedience to the social order, ensuring that both rich and poor played their part. Kennedy, on the other hand, emphasized shared responsibility and sacrifice. He urged Americans to rise above self-interest, saying, "Let every nation know that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship." Whether through religious obligation or patriotic duty, both texts used power to galvanize people toward a shared vision. But let's not ignore the underlying strategy. both leaders were securing their positions by framing their authority as essential for achieving this perfect society. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, both Winthrop and Kennedy crafted compelling visions of unity and purpose. But beneath the surface, these visions were about more than inspiration, they were about influence. By appealing to God, community, and sacrifice, they shaped the way people thought, acted, and lived. Now, don't get me wrong, both men left lasting legacies. Winthrop's City Upon a Hill became a cornerstone of American identity, and Kennedy's address continues to inspire calls for civic duty. But their speeches also remind us to look critically at the narratives that leaders craft and ask, who benefits from this vision? And that's a wrap for today's episode of America's Tea Party. I hope you enjoyed unpacking these two fascinating texts with me. If you did, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Winthrop's and Kennedy's messages? Are they timeless calls for unity, or clever tools of control? Let me know on social media or in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and stay curious.